Alright, today we are going to talk about Chapter 1, Section 6, which is solving and graphing linear inequalities. What we're going to do is really quick review information about inequalities that you should remember, knowing that this is a less than sign, this is greater, a greater than sign, this is less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So that little line underneath there, that's saying or equal to. And this means does not equal. Okay? And hopefully you remember that if you multiply or divide by a negative, then you must flip the sign. So that's going to be true whether you have a simple inequality or a compound inequality. And you most likely have only talked about simple inequalities before. So we're going to start off with a simple one. We've got 5x minus 8 is less than 12. And what we want to do is start by solving for x. So we're going to add 8 to each side. 5x is less than 20. Multiplying by 5, so we divide by 5. So we're going to graph a simple inequality that x is less than 4. And when we go to graph this, if we have less than 4, what I want you to do is always have two numbers on it. So since we have a simple one, we're going to have the number 0 and whatever number you're graphing. And we're graphing 4. 4 is greater than 0, so it's going to go to the right of 0. If it's less than 4, we're going to find our number 4 and we're going to put a dot above 4. If it's less than, we are going to open, or we're going to have an open circle and we're going to follow the arrow. So it's pointing to the left, we're going to go to the left, which is going to have us add something to our notes from above. If it is less than or greater than, you are going to use open circles. But if it's less than or equal to, we're going to take that circle and we're going to fill it in. Greater than or equal to, we're going to have that circle and we're going to fill it in. So open circle means that number is not included. It either has to be less than or greater than. If it's filled in, it's going to be that number or less than, that number or greater than. Alright, another simple inequality, but this time we've got variables on both sides. Remember, you want to move, we've got a 2x and we've got a 6x. You're going to move the smaller of the two, that way that your variable stays positive. So we've got 1 is less than or equal to 4x minus 1. Move the 1 over, add 1 to each side. 2 is less than or equal to 4x. Divide each side by 4. And be careful here, a lot of times I get the answer is 2. 2 over 4 is 1/2. Now what you want to do, you may think you're done now, but you're not. You want to rewrite it so that your variable is always coming first. If you don't rewrite it, you're most likely going to draw your arrow in the wrong direction. So if 1/2 is less than or equal to x, that means x is greater than or equal to 1/2. Notice how the open end of your inequality is facing the x. When you rewrite it with x coming first, you want that open end of the inequality still with the x. So we've got 0 and we've got 1/2. 1/2 is positive, so that's going to be to the right of 0. It's greater than or equal to, so since it can be the number 1/2, we're going to close in the circle. Our arrow is pointing to the right, so we draw it to the right. That was a quick review of what you should have learned before. Now we're going to move on to new material, which is compound inequalities. So we're going to have and inequalities and we're going to have or inequalities. And and intersection, they mean the same thing. Or and union mean the same thing. Anytime you see this kind of setup, you are going to know that it's going to be an and it's actually a special kind of and problem. It is a range. This is a combination of two separate inequalities. The first one is a -2 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than 1. This is the shorthand. We kind of condense the two together. So if I flip this around, it's x is greater than or equal to -2, and x is less than 1. So those are my two of my mini inequalities, and it's compound because I have two of my variables, two separate inequalities. When you write your two numbers, we've got -2 and 1. Just make sure that they are in the correct numerical order. So -2 is smaller, so it goes to the left of a +1. It's greater than or equal to -2, so it's closed circle to the right. Less than 1 means open circle to the left. Now, what and means is that you are looking for the overlap. What do they both share? So I'm looking for what these numbers have in common. What do they both have? So it's everything from a -2 to a +1. And if you look at the reason why it's in a range, it's saying that the numbers I'm looking for is everything between a -2 and a +1. Less than or equal to means closed circle, less than means open circle. So you can actually go from the range directly to the answer. This is just showing you where it comes from. Now our next one, we have an or statement. We've got x is less than -1 and greater than or equal to 2. So I've got -1, 2. -1 is smaller, so that goes to the left of 2. It's open circle to the left because it's less than. Greater than or equal to 2, so that's to the right. Now what or means combine everything. So here it's only what they share, only what do they both have. Here I'm just taking anything from either set and I'm combining it together. So we also often say you're just going to recopy things. So I'm going to recopy this and I'm going to recopy that. And that's going to be our answer. All of your compound inequalities should have 3 levels. 1 from your first inequality, 2 from your second inequality, and the third is going to be your solution. So here's my first, here's my second, and my third is going to be my solution. And you should circle your solution set so I know that you know what your answer is. Alright, we're going to make this a little more difficult. We're going to solve and then graph it. So if you look here, we've got that special setup again, which automatically I know is going to be an and it's going to be a range. Ors will always be written as 2 separate inequalities. Ands can be written as 2 separate inequalities separated by the word and, or it could be written as a range. So our goal is to get the x by itself. We're going to solve it just like any other equation, but now instead of having 2 pieces, a left and a right, we've got a middle, a left, and a right. So if I add 8 here, I've got to add 8 on the left and on the right. So -2 and 8 gives us 6 is less than or equal to 3x, which is less than or equal to 18. Now I want to divide by 3, and again I'm going to divide by 3 on all of my pieces. So I've got 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 6. Now I know in the first one we did it the long way. I showed you where the 2 many inequalities came from. We showed you that and was overlap. But we know that this is a special graph. We know that it's a range, and we know that it's all numbers between 2 and 6, so we can go ahead and just close circle at 2 because it's less than or equal to, close circle at 6 because it's less than or equal to, and my solution of x is everything in between the number 2 and the number 6. Next one. Okay, we want to solve. Now we have 2 many inequalities, so we're going to do them separately. We're going to do all of the first one, so we move the 3 over. Got 2x is less than 2, divide by 2, and we got x is less than 1. Unlike with ands where we have to do it on all 3 sides, this is all one connected inequality. Here I've got 2 separate inequalities, so I solve all of this, and then I go to the right and I solve this one. Divide by 4, and we've got x is greater than 4. So what I'm graphing is x is less than 1 or x is greater than 4. So I've got 1 and I've got 4. 1 is less than 4, so it goes to the left. So less than means open circle, arrow to the left. Greater than 4 means open circle, arrow to the right. And now or means combining everything. So I want every number from this set and every number from that set. I'm going to combine them into one set. So I'm just going to recopy them on a third level. Alright, we are getting there. Now we want to talk about special cases. If I were to take this and break it apart, I would have 5 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than negative 2. That means when I rewrite it, x is greater than or equal to 5, and x is less than negative 2. When I go to graph this, my negative 2 is smaller, so that goes to the left, 5 goes to the right. Greater than or equal to 5, close circle to the right. Less than negative 2, open circle to the left. If I'm looking for and, I'm looking for overlap. When I look at these lines, they don't actually overlap anywhere. That means they don't share anything. They don't have anything in common. So this is a no solution. Next, we have less than or equal to 5 and greater than negative 2. Again, when you set it up, make sure it's in the correct order. So greater than negative 2, less than or equal to 5. If I want or, I'm recopying. So I'm going to take this first one, recopy it, take my second one on the third level, recopy it, and between the two sets, I have covered every number. My first one has covered all my big numbers, my second one has covered all my small numbers, so between the two of them, I just have one straight line, which would be all real numbers. Alright, we've got 2 to the right here. I want you to see if you can correctly do the and the or graphs for those two. You know the drill, press pause. When you're done, press play. Alright, you should have noticed that they had this exact same 2 mini inequalities, so half the battle is being able to get the first 2 done. The or means you're recopying, you're combining everything together. You should have seen that set 1 was inside of set 2. So every number in set 1 was already included in set 2, so you only need set 2 when you combine everything together. Our next one is and. It's only the numbers that they share. So set 1 is a smaller subset inside of set 2. So the only numbers they share is actually the smaller set of negative 2 and smaller. Just remember, or means combine everything from both into one, and means only what they both have. What do they share? Next, we are going to go on to writing. And writing is all about reading carefully. Is less than. That means x is less than 2. And then our keyword of or, greater than 5. So then x is greater than 5. Make sure that you write x twice because it is 2 mini inequalities. And then we say x is at least negative 2. Well, if it's at least negative 2, it's either negative 2 or larger. So it's x is greater than or equal to negative 2. And there's our keyword again, at most 4. So that means 4 is that highest number, so everything has to be below that. So x is less than or equal to 4. Now if it's at least negative 2 and at most 4, we've got a range going on here. And notice that every range will always have less than symbols. You'll never have a greater than symbol mixed in there. The greater than symbol gets switched when I switch that inequality around. And our very last is our word problem. On your way to school, the slowest speed limit is 25 miles per hour, and the fastest is 55 miles per hour. Write an inequality that represents your speed. Well, hopefully you realize that we have given you a range of speeds, and there's that keyword there of and. If I'm giving you the slowest speed and the fastest speed, it can be anything in between there. So the slowest is 25, the fastest is 55. So I want everything in between there. So x is in between. It can be 25, so it can be equal to. It can be 55, so it can be equal to. And then we know since we have a range, it's less than sign. So if you read it backwards, x is greater than or equal to 25 and x is less than or equal to 55. When you squish it together into a range, you get 25 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 55. And we will do a lot more of this in class because I know this is a new concept that's a little bit more difficult. See you in class.